because you're short on time, we're going to go with me first, and if you don't have enough, then...
No, I have plenty.
Okay.
Brian.
Well, you know, Way of the Master is right. Religion is a force for good. When you take out the murder, mass genocide committed by God as documented in the Bible, religious wars, burning witches at the stake, Ted Haggard, shooting abortion doctors, the Bible's promotion of slavery, pedophile priests, serial killing Christians gone wild, the Church's systematic oppression of women and minorities, aversion to protection against STDs and the spread of AIDS in third world countries, creative and inconsistent interpretation of thou shalt not kill. Take it all out, religion is a force for good. Ray says we all have a conscience. Did his God forget to give a conscience to Saddam Hussein, Adolf Hitler, the popes who have the blood of millions on their hands, and Osama bin Laden? Do you know what the definition of a terrorist is? Some definitions say terrorists use violence, but it can also be the threatened use of violence for the purpose of creating fear in order to achieve a religious goal. This is exactly what Ray and Kirk have been doing. They put the fear of God and hell into non-believers. What could be more terroristic than believe this or burn for an eternity? The answer is nothing. Not many acts of terrorism are also fueled by its worst victims, so I don't entirely fault Ray and Kirk. I understand their intent is based on their fear of hell. Look, enough is enough. It's time for people of reason to unite and help others abandon this fear that has been brainwashed into them from birth. Ray and Kirk teach our children to believe from birth, yet they can't defend their views of God logically. We, as a society, are mentally abusing our children if we're teaching them how to be illogical. If you are emotionally charged by what Kelly and I have been saying up here tonight, it is entirely possible that you are one of religion's victims. You can help yourself today. You can abandon your indefensible religious beliefs today and embrace a logical worldview predicated on evidence, logic, and reason. Abandon your guilt and fear, and you'll feel better for it. I promise you, you will not burn in any hell that man has created to scare you into belief.
Okay, thank you. I'd finally like to ask Kirk just to say a few words.
We often receive emails from people, atheists in particular, saying, you know, you guys who believe in God are idiots. You're small-minded people who are unintelligent. You don't think. Well, I just want to read a short list of some of our idiots who believe in God. Albert Einstein, Galileo.
Just let him finish.
Pardon me, I didn't say he was a Christian. Albert Einstein, Galileo, Shakespeare, Sir Isaac Newton, Copernicus. These guys were not stupid. When it comes to intelligence, the side of creationism has got it in spades. And the science is good, and the logic is good. Now, we're not up here saying that we think atheists are unintelligent. There are a lot of smart atheists. Sam Harris and Richard Dawkins are clearly intelligent men. That's not the problem. If someone insists there is no God, when creation clearly demonstrates that there is a creator, the problem is not an intellectual one. It is a moral one. It is not the problem that you can't find God. It's that you won't find God. It's a matter of the will. I want to quote Richard Dawkins, who wrote The God Delusion. He said, even if there was no actual evidence in favor of the Darwinian theory, we should still be justified in preferring it over all rival theories. Did you hear that? He said, even if there is no actual evidence, we should still believe it over the other theories. Even in light of what can be presented to justify those theories. That is unreasonable, and it's unscientific. That is the definition of blind faith. I believe something even though there is no evidence to support it. Why would anybody do that? Well, here's my opinion. I think if you admit that there is a God, then you willingly put yourself under his authority. And now you're not in charge. Many atheists that I know, they just flat out don't want anyone telling them what they can and cannot do morally. That is anathema to them, especially somebody who is all-powerful, created everything, and has rules and consequences for violating those rules. They reject the whole concept and start with the presupposition that there is therefore no God, and they ignore the evidence that supports the existence of God, and they pick the ones that they want to support their theory. How do I know this? That's what I used to do as an atheist. So at the end of the day, it comes down to this. You've heard both sides of the argument. You have to make a decision about what you believe about God. It's the biggest decision you'll ever make in your life. God will reveal himself to you, not just generally, but very specifically and purposefully to you if you will respond to creation, if you will respond to your own conscience and to the gospel. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, we can just... Do you want to just say a final word, Kelly?
Sure. I think everybody here can tell that there was not one piece of evidence presented at all for their God. And it's really ironic that the worst charge that they can level against us is that we use faith to support our worldview, which isn't true, but is exactly what they do. So why is that a problem? It's okay for you. Why isn't it okay for me? It's just silly. Their whole appeal to authority fallacy there at the end. Oh, all of these smart people believe in God. We never said that there are not intelligent people who believe in God. They clearly are. But they do this thing called compartmentalization. Everywhere else in my life, I'm logical and rational. Just this one little spot, my little God box in my brain, I won't let my logic seep into there. So, I mean, essentially, there has been nothing presented today as any kind of evidence. It's just an appeal to your emotions and your fear of death and fear of punishment to believe in their God. And I'm sorry that that's all we got today.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to end in a moment, and I've just got to close the piece. But I just wanted to ask you, Ray, that was a pretty strong accusation, that all you gave was a sense of guilt, fear about the afterlife, fear of judgment. Is that what you wanted to do? Is that what you wanted to convey?
No, that's not the message we gave. Every single person has a fear of death. Every single one of us. Instead of calling the fear of death, call it a will to live. And as I said, if there's one chance in a million that what we're saying is true, soften your heart. Pray. Listen to the voice of your conscience. Look at the genius of God's hand through creation. The Bible says, if you seek God, you will surely find him if you seek him with your whole heart. If you wanted an interview with the Queen of England, you can't say, Queen, come and see me. You've got to bow to the standard that she has to go and see her. You may have to change your clothes, clean yourself up, humble yourself. Well, God says he resists the proud and gives grace to the humble. And the only way you can approach God is with a humble heart. And if you do that, you'll find him as surely as Kirk and I found him, and millions of others throughout contemporary society and down through history have found God to be true to his promises.
Okay, so let's all humble our hearts and pray to Poseidon.
And that just about rounds up our first Nightline Faced-Off debate. I hope you found it interesting and enlightening. I'd like to thank our panelists, Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron. And Brian Sapient and Kelly. And you can read much more about the Nightline Face-Off and join the debate on our website at abcnews.com. But for Nightline, I'm Martin Bashir in New York. Thank you so much for watching.